the passage, rejoice always, pray without ceasing, and everything give thanks, came to my mind. And as I began to think over those verses, I felt as though the Lord spoke to me and said, the key to mental health is giving thanks in everything without ceasing. And what really hit me on that was that kind of lifestyle, prayer without ceasing, is the key to heart health. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. So the management of the heart is vital for how well we do in life.
I know you think that you are too far gone, but hope is never lost. Hope is never lost.
4:23 that says, watch over your heart with all diligence, because from it flow the issues of life. So think about this, heart health is praying without ceasing. By keeping my heart in touch with God's heart, the right things flow from it. I think he's saying a prayerful life insulates you from temptation. Watch and pray as to hinder temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. What's that? The spirit is willing to do what? Pray. The flesh is weak about what? Prayer. So the strength of my prayer life is according to the strength of my spirit over my flesh. A weak prayer life is a downright flesh. The issue of mastery over flesh is vital to an effective prayer life. It's off there. That's his job. My job is to bring him. My job is through the pursuit of the King and his kingdom to demonstrate the reality of who he is, and to seek first, in any given situation that I run into, to seek first his kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. It's not just an overall cry about someday going to heaven. It's actually a mandate to pursue the manifestation of the reality of his world in this one, in according to whatever need we happen to be facing at the moment. What does it look like when we face poverty with that kind of mindset? What does it look like when we see depression, discouragement, or suicidal thoughts, or whatever it might be? It means that we come with the reality of another world that is able to break the curse, break the bondage, break the cycle of defeat and loss that people around us have experienced. This is an invitation. He gives us this invitation. And I believe it's the responsibility of everybody here to pursue earnestly spiritual gifts. I want you to look at a verse with me. It's just one very simple verse. It's one of the commission verses. It's in Matthew chapter 10. And I want to read this one passage to you and talk for a few minutes. Matthew 10, verse 7 and 8. We'll read two verses. As you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. Freely you have received, freely you give. Listen to it again. As you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. But the requirement remains the same. The reality of his world must invade this one. I've come to the conclusion that Jesus is the only one who has the right to expect the impossible from me. Fruit of the impossible is required for my life. Because he put within me the exact Holy Spirit that raised him from the dead. The Holy Spirit lives in every one of us, every believer in the room. He lives in us, but he does not rest upon every one of us. He's in me for my sake, but when he rests upon me, it's for your sake. A people that learn to carry and to host presence is what he's called us to be. So Jesus got people pressing all around him. Everybody wants to hear a miracle. They want to hear some new insight. Everybody's wanting something. So the crowd is pressing around. Everybody's bumping into him. And one woman touches him, his clothing, not even him, his clothing in faith. And he discerned a release of power in your body. How do you remain so conscious of the Spirit of God upon you in the middle of all that activity that you can tell when somebody by faith just took the withdrawal of what you carry? It's possible, apparently. Apparently it's possible. Apparently, Jesus is entirely God, never stopped being God, but he performed his miracles as a man dependent on God. If he did all of his miracles as God, I'm still impressed, but I'm a spectator. When I find out that he did miracles dependent on the Father, carrying out what he told us, the Son of Man can do nothing of himself. When I find that out, suddenly, I'm no longer satisfied standing on the sidelines. His example has created a draft, has caused me to pursue what might be possible in my lifetime. And I may stink at this thing my entire life. I may never do it well. I just don't have the right to change the assignment. Peter walks to the temple, and apparently people noticed that when they got close to him, they got healed. So a rumor started, and they started lining up people on the streets so that just his shadow would touch him as he walked by. That provokes me.